That retired dude here. How y'all doing today? Hope you're all having a great day. I certainly am. So on our next retired person's journey, what are we going to do? Let me give you a little story real quick. Before I bought this Range Rover SVR, I was vehicle shopping. Not very many vehicles, but one thing I was shopping was the Jeep Trackhawk because of the 707 horsepower that it has. I've been in Range Rovers before, the standard V8s, SCs before this SVR, and I wanted something more than the regular Range Rover. So I went shopping, was looking at, really the only other alternative I looked at was the Trackhawk because I didn't like the BMW, the Mercedes AMGs, not really my style. In the SUV fashion, AMG cars, S63, yeah, but the SUVs, no. Trackhawk. I like the 707 horsepower option for the Trackhawk, but I didn't like the Trackhawk itself because the Trackhawk isn't refined. If you're a Trackhawk owner, sorry if you're offended by that, but Trackhawks are not refined. They have a lot of horsepower, they sound great on the exhaust, but there's no refinement there. When I think about Trackhawk owners, I imagine guys watching football with a beer in their hand, with a bowl of corn chips, slamming the bowl down, yelling, "Yeah, go team, go team." But when I imagine Range Rover drivers like myself, owners like myself, we have like tea with our pinky in the air with like a Ritz cracker or a sandwich with no crust on it, watching tennis. So you got, the brute force of a Trackhawk versus the high horsepower yet refinement of a Range Rover. So I went with the Range Rover. But the one thing the Trackhawk has that I absolutely envy is the fact that you can hear the supercharger, because both vehicles have a supercharger. Trackhawk has a supercharger and the Range Rover SVR has a supercharger, but I can't hear the supercharger. So what was my option? Find a way to hear the supercharger. So my research came up with one of the companies that makes a cone kit, a cold air induction cone kit from a company called Mina Gallery. Shout out to Mina Gallery. I bought their kit. It's here. And I'm going to install that kit on here and see if I can get some supercharger whine out of my SVR. So we're going to do first a sound check. I'm going to microphone the SVR up, turn it on, rev it up, let you hear how you can't hear the supercharger very much. Then install the kit. I'm going to try to video as much of that, install the kit, and then do another sound check, microphone the SVR up, and see if we can hear the supercharger whine. That's the next retired person's journey we're going to be on. Come along with me. When I'm done with it, give me some comments, tell me what you think about it, if you like it, if you don't like it, or whatever. And yeah, let's get started on that. So here we are under the hood of the SVR. Air filter on the driver's side, passenger side air filter over there, supercharger's under here. Let me let you get a look at what a supercharger looks like on an SVR in case you've never seen it before, and explain what we're going to do here. This is the cover. Lay this down to the side over here. So here is the supercharger. It's a flat supercharger as opposed to a higher, taller stand-up supercharger on a Trackhawk or one of the Dodge products. The air filter on the driver's side, air filter on the passenger side. I'm going to replace both of these boxes here with the Mina Gallery cones. Going to end up keeping the mass air on both sides. All of this stays. On some of the more intense kits, all this here is replaced with aluminum piping, but I'm not going to go through all that right now. I want to see how this works out first. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn the truck on. I've already done cold start on it because that's kind of loud. I've done cold start. I'm going to microphone it right here, turn it on, rev the engine so you can hear that you cannot hear the supercharger whine. And then shut all that down and then get to work on replacing both of these boxes. I'm going to open the box, go with the box first, open it up, let you see what's in the box, and then we'll go from there. Well, there it was, folks. So I took the mic off, I clipped it right here in the center, shut the hood, you saw that in the video, went in, turned the SVR on, revved the engine 4 or 5 times, not extremely hard, but enough that you should have been able to hear the supercharger whine if it was there. But it's obviously being restricted by these air boxes on both sides of the car. So that's what we're going to be replacing. So I'm going to go in now, get the box that I got from Mina Gallery, open the box up and show you what comes in the kit to replace these air boxes with their cold air induction kit. So let's get to that. I have not previously opened this box, as you can see. I want to say something too before I get started. I think this is a Mina Gallery kit. I was looking at so many kits. I think that's the one I bought, but we're about to find out. So I've not previously opened it. We're going to open it up, see what's in it, and hopefully it says this kit is designed for the SVR. You know, Jag has a kit also for the F-Pace SVR. And I don't think it's the same kit for both. I really don't know. I wouldn't think so because the engine compartments are different. But let's see what we have here in this kit. What we actually made. Okay, so here's everything that comes in the Mina Gallery kit box. You have heat shield. I think that's the driver's side. This is the passenger side. You have 2 cones with brackets already attached. You have these brackets here. I'm not sure where they go. I'll learn as I start. And you have a bag here that has some nuts, bolts, brackets, some reversible tape, sponge things in it, I guess to keep stuff from vibrating, and the instruction book. That's all that comes in it. So now I need to look in the instruction book and see what tools I need, and then get those laid out, and then get started. All right, so I have both brackets on. This is the heat shield for the driver's side, and this bracket will go somewhere right around there. So there's the bottom bracket to bolt it to the bottom of the frame. And this is the bracket for the passenger side, and it will bolt in somewhere around here once I get that air box out and secure somewhere to the top of this mount. So I've screwed the brackets in on both sides. Now I'm going to go ahead and start removing the air boxes. Alright, I'm going to tackle this passenger side first. According to the instructions that I've seen online or on other YouTube channels, the passenger side is easier to do than the driver's side. So I have to first pop off this mass air connector here. I probably don't need to do that, but then I need a 7mm socket here to undo this bracket. I don't need to remove it all the way, just loosen it up. That's loose enough. And then I'm going to separate I'm not going to take the whole box out, I'm just going to separate the top from the bottom. And then get the bottom out later. Little Phillips will do that. to get to the air filter. I'm not going to bore you with the entire process, just show you what I'm starting, and then I'll show it to you once I'm done. Okay, so update on where I am so far. So I got the box, the top of the box off. Here's the air filter. The mass air sensor connects to here. And the instructions say to separate this from here, get rid of this, and then reconnect the mass air filter. And then once I put the shield on, I put the cone other side of the shield, connect the sensor to the air filter on this side. So that's where I'm on the way to now. I'm now going to work on, once I get this air filter out of here, get this bottom part of this box out, and then I'll be able to install a shield. And then I should have all that completed. Shouldn't take too much longer. Yeah, they're right. This passenger side is not very difficult. You just needed a couple of screwdrivers and, you know, nothing major to get this side here done. So we're almost there. I got the bottom box out. Nothing holds it in place. Once you get to unscrew the 6 bolts from the top of the air filter box, the bottom is only held in. It just goes into some holes, like right here, and they just are held in by pressure under this rubber here. So then that's it, no screws. So this goes here. This bottom plate goes here, and then I've got to take this off and put this on here. But in order to secure this bottom plate to that grommet there, I need to use this, 2 washers, and a nut. So to get them in there, I have to go, you can't see it from here, but this rubber grommet has a hole that goes straight through. I'm about to install that now. You just come underneath here. Gotta be careful. If I drop it, it's gone. That goes there. I'll screw it down tighter in a little bit. This goes here. And then this washer goes there. And then this nut goes on top of it. And I'll unbolt this, secure this in place. That'll be done there. So I will update you more on that when I'm done. Passenger side is done. Took about an hour. Putting stuff in, taking it back out, refitting it, but it's done. So this is the top bracket. Took the bolt out on the front, mounted it down. Showed you where the other one was there at the very bottom where the grommet is. Right here to hold the bottom the bracket on the bottom plate in. Filter goes through here. Mass air sensor is reconnected to this hose. This was a factory bracket, a factory clamp. This was the clamp that was provided with the kit. So once you shove the cone through this hole, you just reconnect the mass air sensor to it right there. You got to screw it down pretty tight because it kept falling off. So I had to make sure I got it in there nice and secure. I'll check it in a couple of days. And there's the passenger side, and now I got to work on this driver's side. All right, folks, there you have it. We're all done. Driver's side is in. Remarkably, the driver's side was easier than the passenger side. All the YouTube videos I saw on this job, people were saying that the driver's side was harder. Actually, it was way easier. But I did lose two pieces of tools down there. Some screwdriver attachments. They fell down in there. I'm probably never going to see them again. So I have a blank spot in my case, in my tool case. So I'm going to show you real quick what I need. This is everything I needed to get this job done. That to wipe my hands. I spread this across the front of the vehicle to keep from scratching my paint. I needed vice grips, this little knife to open the box, and all these various wrenches and little, what's this here? I needed a 1/4 inch 7/8 and an 8mm flat tip Phillips screwdriver attachments, ratchets, big and small. The big ratchet for the those there, and the smaller ratchets for everything else. So those were all the tools I needed. No major tools. Those were a couple screws and grommets that were left behind after the job was done, and then the instruction book over there. So not very many tools needed for this. I'm about to put the engine cover back on. So there it is again. The cones are on. I'm about to complete this job by putting the engine cover back on. And there we have it. So at this point, I will turn it on and hope that this was all worth it, that I'll get some engine noise out of it. I'll be able to hear some Supercharger whine. So let's stand by for that. So we're about to go take a ride and test this thing out. See if I got my money's worth or not. Check engine light from disconnecting those mass air sensors and reconnecting them. But let's go and see what happens. I might hear something, but I don't hear. I hear my pops and bangs. It's always good to hear those. But as far as another issue might be that my exhaust is so loud that I might not be able to hear it either, but pops and bangs are amazing. At least I don't have to pay extra money to get those. But I can say now that I'm in 4th gear and I can hear it, but it's not as audible as I was hoping. Final thoughts on the Mina Gallery intake system for the Range Rover Sport SVR. I'm not sure. I have mixed feelings about it. I wouldn't say it was a waste of my money. It was an experiment, like everything I do. You know, you went along the journey with me when I opened the box, inventoried the box, put it all together. The only part I didn't change on there was the intake pipe. There was a lot involved in changing the intake pipe if I had ordered that entire kit. So I just got the cones. I do have some supercharger whine in there, but I may not be able to hear it because as much as I want, because my exhaust is already very loud and that thing pops and bangs like crazy. Maybe as time goes on, I'll get more used to it. Maybe I'll hear it more. I'm not sure. Maybe I was expecting too much, but I got what I got. Yeah, it was an experiment, like I said. Send me some thoughts on it. If anybody has an SVR or a Jag, SVR, a DF Pace, or anything Range Rover-ish that you've used this kit and you actually can hear your supercharger whine prominently, let me know. Send me some thoughts, some questions, some comments. Good morning, folks. So it's the next morning after I've installed this Mina Gallery kit, this cone kit on my SVR. I went last night and looked at some more videos on other people who installed it on their vehicles, Jaguar, V8s, V6s, some Range Rovers, not necessarily SVRs, but V8 Range Rovers, not SVRs. In every case, I was able to clearly hear the supercharger whine after their installations. I spent quite a bit of time last night on mine, driving it around, revving it. I don't hear a thing. I hear nothing. I don't know if it's different for SVRs, or maybe it's because my exhaust is so loud that I can't hear it, because I do have a pretty loud exhaust with no resonators. My only exhaust modification is no resonators. That's it. I usually keep my exhaust flaps open, my exhaust valves open. But other than that, there's no exhaust modifications to this SVR, but it is very loud. I hear no supercharger whine. I mean, I don't know if I'm getting better throttle response or any of those things from this kit. I'm not interested in those. I'm not racing my SVR. But I was interested in getting some supercharger whine after expressing my lack of desire for a Trackhawk because of its lack of, refinement compared to Range Rover Sport SVRs. But at this point, I'm not impressed, and I'm gonna recheck this thing and make sure I didn't install something wrong. But I mean, you can't really install it wrong. It's a pretty straightforward set. The only thing you have to do on it is take off the mass air off the factory boxes and then reinstall them, and they only go one direction because there's an airflow direction indicator on them, and you just rehook the connection. So I don't know why I can't hear supercharger whine out of this. I mean, I can very faintly hear it, but that's not enough for me. If I can't hear it the way I have in some of these videos, then I'm gonna take this system off, get my money back, and just stick with my factory boxes. So anyway, I hope this was an interesting video for some of you. Maybe this would work for your vehicle, whether it's an SVR or a Range Rover or some other vehicle. Just in my opinion, at this point, after one day, not good enough for me. I may keep it a couple more days before I take it off. I'll determine that. I don't drive this thing much, but I may drive it a few more days just to see if maybe my ears pick it up better. But anyway, I hope this was interesting to some of you. Like, share, subscribe, and all that other good YouTube stuff people do. And watch some of my other videos. And I will see you again the next time I do some retired people stuff.